Welcome to this episode of Inside the Gym podcast. I'm Chris Gilbert, your host for this episode. And today we have got a star-studded cast getting ready to talk about how to find or why you need to find the best coach for your situation. So we've got Ron Partlow from Mutant on a Mission, West Coast Iron. We've got Nate Telow, Masters Champion from Gym Hub in Boston. And we've got Blake Bomberger from Unrivaled Gym. You've seen GymInformer get up there a couple of times. If you've seen the episode of Taylor Santucci that we just had, Taylor's a trainer at Blake's gym, so Blake understands high-level training also. So I'm excited to get into this episode. So as I mentioned, we're going to talk about coaching. So Nate, if you want to start us out, like, why does someone need to get a coach, or does everybody need to get a coach?
Man, it's a good question. I don't know that everybody needs to get a coach, but certainly everyone could benefit from a good coach. I think that's something we'll definitely talk about, right? Good coach versus bad coach. I think a bad coach can do probably more harm than good. But I think, on a basic level, if we're talking about doing a bodybuilding show, right? There's getting in shape in general or doing a show. In doing a show, there's a finished look that's like acceptable, that's going to do well. We can all kind of agree on a certain level of leanness, posing, presentation, all of the things that go into somebody that has a chance to be really competitive at a local show. And a good coach will know all of those things and have you prepared, have you lean enough, have your tan right, have your posing right, hopefully help you on the mental side of so you're not so nervous as you see at a lot of these shows. There's a basic blueprint, right? Where I think a lot of us, if you put a bunch of good coaches in a room, well, there's a lot of ways to get to the finish line. Certainly a lot of us, I think Ron and I would agree on a lot of things, being, sort of disciples of Chris Aceto coaching of simpler the better. Use your eyes and don't make things complicated for the sake of making your coaching look valuable, which I think is a current trend. But I think the basic blueprint of you're at A, we need to get to Z, and I'm going to use my eyes to make sure we're on a good pace to be where we need to be, and do it in the least extreme way possible. Not just hammering somebody right off the bat with 2 hours of cardio and zero carbs. So there's sort of a common sense approach that I think if you get with a coach like that, you're going to have a much better experience throughout the whole thing. Prepping for a bodybuilding show is hard no matter what, but it can be harder than it needs to be with a dumb coach. And with a good coach, it can be as easy as it could be within that struggle of somebody just making small changes when needed that don't hit you over the head, like 2 hours of cardio out of nowhere, zero carbs out of nowhere, and allow you to get to the finish line in a way in which you enjoyed the experience more.
Yeah.
Do you want to add to that, Ron?
Yeah, I think like a good coach knows when to do nothing. Right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes the answer is, okay, well, let's just see how you look in the morning. Like I get frustrated when I hear some coaches talk like it's an emergency if I don't adjust your food on a Tuesday after I just adjusted it on a Saturday. Do you know what I mean? Like I just changed it out on Saturday and then nothing's changed by Tuesday. So we got to change. Like this is creates an anxiety within the client that there's like a micromanaging that is necessary. And I mean, I don't want to sound like I don't care about stuff. Like, that's how I fear this comes across sometimes when you're saying like how many things are unnecessary. But like a lot of times I just tell people like, okay, well, let's just give it a few more days. Like I do that so many times. And also then, I've worked with so many people that a lot of females, this happens to. They're like, well, my last coach had, like my high day was 30 grams of rice at 2 of my meals. And see, he's laughing because he's heard it. He's heard it all before. He's seen it. He knows who that is that does that. Like in his area, there's a coach that does that. Like your high day, you have more asparagus and more like 30 grams more rice on 2 meals, and then 10 grams more peanut butter. It's like, this is just completely comes out in the wash at the end of the week. This sort of like, this is your stagger. This has no metabolic impact whatsoever. It's just completely in your head. And I don't know. I just feel like so many things are completely in people's heads. And it's like the coach is kind of the problem with the creating the anxiety over all these fussy little things and micro adjustments. And I just try to keep things like, like it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like, I remember when I got truly peeled the first time, I would film with a VHS camera. My buddy would film my posing on Sunday. I would front double by, front lat spread, side chest. And then it was under good lighting at the gym. And then Monday morning, I would mail it to my coach.
That's awesome.
On my way to college. And then I would courier it.
Was it Chris?
No, it was a coach where I lived, but he lived in like 5 hours away in another city.
Yeah.
And I mailed it to him. This was back in 99. And I mailed it to him, and he would watch it on Tuesday morning. And then he would call me Tuesday night after I got back from college and after school. And we had a Tuesday night phone call every week. And he'd be like, oh, okay, well, you're getting leaner. Let's not make any changes this week. And if your weight's not down by Thursday, I want you to skip a carb meal for 2 days before your video. He would give me cause you can't send a video every 2 days, he's only getting one video a week, and he's got a job and he's busy. So he'd be like, if your weight's not down by Thursday, do this. If your weight's down by Thursday, don't do that. Send me your video on Sunday. And how easy that prep was. It was like just a joke. I think there's sometimes too much constant nattering and chatting about every little thing. It's just fucking let the cake bake.
Yeah.
You put it in the oven, come back 45 minutes later. You don't have to fucking open the door every 2 minutes. Like, that's how I feel. Sorry.
That was great. Look, I feel the same. I tell my clients all the time, like, look, guys, I'm pretty basic. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass. Because at the end of the day, like, I learned from mentors. My first coaches were just like mentors that love the game, man.
That's actually the word I use. I try to use the word mentor when I can.
Well, coaches weren't a thing like Ron. It wasn't really, I guess it was a coach, but it was more of a mentor, right? So back in the day, we call them mentors. Hey, like, you knew someone that was really good at bodybuilding, and you're like, wow, they know what they're doing. They obviously get peeled. They know how to suffer. They know how to, work through a diet correctly, and they look really good, and the end result was good. So I had a wife and husband that I grew up with. I started lifting at like 9. So I always saw them lifting together, and I'm like, I was powerlifting at the time. And I'm like, dude, they look awesome. They're like, always look awesome. And you could tell they had a good methodical process that wasn't over the top. There was no Instagram and social media and all this shit, man. It was just like, they had a process and it worked. And I remember going through powerlifting, football, all this stuff, and getting into college. And I was like, I need to hit up Mary and BJ. It was the husband and wife. And they were like, absolutely, we'll help you. What we're going to do, I was in college at the time too. I was 19. They're like, you're going to come home once a month. We're going to use body fat calipers and we're going to take photos of you. We're going to run through posing. And I went back once a month. My diet was like, I don't know, 5 months, I think it was 24 weeks. Actually, it was more than that. We started way out because I was fat.
Yeah.
I did a hard bulk to put on the size, I looked like a total bag of shit. They're like, hey man, you need like at least 25 weeks of dieting, because I was natty. So I'm like, oh, all right. Anyway, long story short, we diet down, and like Ron alluded to, man, it was small changes. And I thought, well, this isn't that bad. And we started in a good baseline of a surplus of calories, and like you talk about metabolic adaptation and like making sure the efficiency was there. And we slowly pulled every week, pull a little bit of sweet potato, pull a little bit of rice, manipulate fats, maybe a little bit. I mean, it was pretty simple, but it taught me right from the get-go, this isn't like this super complex thing. We start with a baseline, we work into a deficit, and just be smart about it and see if your body's changing. Like manipulate cardio accordingly, manipulate training. Training for me back then, it was like, train your ass off. Okay,
Yeah.
I can do that. There wasn't like progressive overload, periodization, special this and special, all these things. Like, I mean, yes, that played a role a little bit, but it wasn't this like mastermind process. It's pretty easy. And it was about working hard and making sure you got everything done and stay on point. I didn't have 1 grain of rice more. I didn't miss 1 minute of cardio.
Yeah.
Got to my show and, for being 19 and natural, yeah, I was peeled. I was pretty damn peeled. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like I look good. I feel good. And, I mean, I was 154 pounds, but I look like a cross country runner. But from early on, I just learned the name of the game of this is being basic. And along the way, I had other coaches then that had different schools of thought and different styles of coaching, and some were good, some were not so good. And then my most previous coach, who I work under now, at Loud, and I was like, okay, this is the way you do things. And he was brought up same way, like old school. Nothing crazy, man. I check in once a week, we make changes accordingly, and we move on.
Yeah.
So
it sounds like you guys are all unanimous that, like, if you're going to do a show, getting a coach and getting a good coach is going to be really beneficial to you.
yes.
So if I were to do a Google search or Instagram search or however I was going to search, and I was like, okay, let me find a bodybuilding coach. And I went on AI and said, find me the best bodybuilding coach in my area, or for somebody my age or somebody my size. I would get thousands of results. Like,
yeah, but what are the
how is
results you're
somebody
getting,
who's-
right?
what was that, Blake?
Well, I was just gonna say, what are the results are you gonna get? Is it the most Instagram likes? Because you're not gonna find me. You're not gonna find maybe Ron or Nate. I don't know. Like
No,
maybe
I'm
Ron.
getting at.
Ron's like
Like,
famous, so
No. I'm
that's what I'm getting at, is like,
D-list.
like, how does somebody who's new to the game or new to bodybuilding or wants to do their first show, like, how do they find a good coach, or how do they find like a good coach for themselves? Like, you want to start with this one, Blake?
yeah. Well, I mean, I think like the biggest thing is like I would go word of mouth, honestly, in the area. I'd keep it like, if you're doing your first bodybuilding show anyway, like the goal is to look the part. Obviously you go to win, but it's your first show. So you just want to look the part and make sure you come in peeled, right? Come in peeled, look the part, and find someone that you can kind of rely on and trust to the best of your ability, right? So I think probably the best way to go about it is not going on social media outlets or AI or whatever. It's like, hey, who sounds like they know what they're doing, and spark up a conversation with them, whether it be through email or maybe a quick, we have like Loom videos and stuff like that. Like, that's why when someone reaches out to me and they're a first time competitor or whatever, I usually take a Loom video. It's like 5 minutes long. I'm like, hey man, or whoever's reaching out, and hey, this is who I am. This is the way I like to do things, and I keep it pretty basic, so they know what they're getting off the get go. Because I'm not a volume guy, I'm a quality guy. So like, I don't need 300 competitors. I just don't run my coaching like that. I don't even have the time to do that anyway. So I think you can usually get a good feel on someone. Like, I've had people sign up and be like, hey, I reached out to like 4 different coaches and I picked you because you seem realistic. Cool.
Right.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ron.
Oh no, I just agreeing. Just agreeing too loudly. Yeah.
No, that's all I gotta say. So who's next?
Yeah, you want to take on with that, Ron?
Well, I just I remember my first show, I didn't have a coach, but my training partner was my coach without us actually ever using the word or thinking of it that way. Like, he would go, so what'd your diet look like? And I'd go, oh, I'm doing this and this and this. And he'd be like, oh yeah. He goes, yeah, that'll work. If you stop getting leaner, maybe you pull the carbs out of there. That's where I'd pull them. And I'd be like, yeah, it's a good idea. And then, but in hindsight, I didn't have a coach, but he had already like won like a heavyweight championship at a national level. So like, he was like, yeah, make sure you get the Protan. Like, just buddy giving advice, you know what I mean? And it was my old training partner. I wasn't training with him at the time. I had moved. So I was like, I'd call him up and be like, hey, I lost 4 pounds this week. He'd be like, oh, okay. That's, if you just keep doing that, like, so it's just kind of funny. Like, we were just getting advice off friends of ours that had done it and done well at it, and that's how coaching started for me. I just helped a guy at the gym and he wound up winning like a master's show in like 99.
That's awesome.
And then these other 2 guys at the gym were like, I might get you to help me. And then the one guy won the next show. So all of a sudden, 4 people wanted to do another show. And next thing you know, people are asking if I have a card. I'm like, what do you mean I have a card? And then, I met a guy at the bar one night who was in a band, and he's like, oh, I build websites. You should get a website. And I was like, you think so? Like, that's how it happened for me. Just like accidentally. But you got to find a coach that, I try and avoid salesmen because I have a radar for salesmen. So I try and avoid them. So a lot of people don't have a radar for that, or that doesn't bother them.
Yeah.
So that's fine. If that's fine. If you like, I want to hire this guy. He sounds awesome. And I'm like, he sounds like a car salesman, but they think he sounds awesome. That's fine. But whoever speaks your language, you know what I mean? Like, you got to be comfortable. I see some of these coaches that kind of run their coaching businesses like, they really do the team model, which is totally cool. Like, that's business, man. I just was never really that comfortable with like, the team model. So I never like named my coaching business or anything. It was just how I did things. But just find someone who communicates well in your language, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of people out there that are very good at what they do, and they're not well known at all. Like, I know a lot of people that have helped people look awesome on stage, and they're just like, may help a few people here and there. They're not even really in the coaching business. So there's it does, the more is not better, the bigger the stable of clients is not better. Sometimes, and like, they're making, I don't know how you guys run your businesses. It's totally cool. But like, I don't make people sign shit. Like, I don't know. It even occurred to me, like, no one's ever signed anything with me. Like, just, here's your diet, call me next week. Like, so, there's something you're comfortable with. If you want someone that's going to, you want a contract with your coach, here's my contract. Like, if you want that, then they're out there. So you just got to look around and know that the spectrum exists. They're not all the same. There's a bunch of different ways of doing things. So.
Yeah, I'll echo that. What you guys were just saying in terms of, if I think of some of the best coaches around, we'll say the New England area, none of them are posting, I'm looking for 6 people who want to get in shape in 30 days. DM me fit to, we've all seen those. That's the trend, right? We know what that is. And usually there's a back end company, in a third world country, communicating for these people, and it's how you do something to scale, but you're not getting that person anymore.
No.
And while it's good for business when you say, hey, how do I make the most money off of online coaching, it's a very different experience than, say, us right here, right, where I might have 10 to 15 people. That's all I want, because I can be really present for those people on top of running a gym, my own bodybuilding career, in-person clients, right? And one of the things I think people need to do is know what they need for communication. It's like finding a partner, right? If you need somebody who you can vent to about how hard your day was and how tired you are, then that's what you need, right? You might need a coach that can be that for you. That's not Chris Aceto or people in that field, right? Like, one of my favorite things, Ron, for you and Dusty, is the Chris Aceto emails.
The texts are the best.
Yeah,
they like don't even make sense.
Yeah.
You have to learn to read Aceto.
I've communicated with him through text before as well, and sometimes I have to screenshot it to Jose saying, what does he mean by this? But that school, that's like, there's no emotion, right? When I ask you for pics and numbers, that's all you send me. I don't need to know anything else. Well, a lot of people won't be comfortable with that, and so that's not the coach for you. And so I think, the person needs to know what style of communication you need. I feel like that's a good starting place, because any of us that might be more in that Chris Aceto school of, hey, things look good, check-ins in 5 days, and that's all you get, they're going to be really unhappy, with that, because they wanted more. Other than that too, like, the best coaches I think of in this area really aren't posting much. I don't post saying looking for clients, but today I got about 5 DMs from people saying, hey, I don't know if you're taking clients or not, but would you consider taking me on, and then we have a conversation. And one of the things I'll do is, the coach that's posting, I'm looking for 8 people who want to get in shape for summer, whatever.
One spot left.
Yeah, right. The number gets
Not buying
counted down, and X
Yeah.
is, there are no restrictions in that, right? They will take you as long as your money is good.
Yep.
And it's anybody. I'll give you a quick example. There's a kid who used to come to my gym who really scaled up a coaching business. Wouldn't be surprised if he's making 50 grand a month. And it's just ad, probably all cookie cutter stuff, crazy. He DMs me and says, hey, I have a girl who wants to do her first bikini show. Can I sign her up? And then I was going to ghost coach her through his program, right? And it would be him coaching, but I would be doing all of the plans. And he was asking me what my rate was, because he was going to charge $1,000 a month and try to throw me like $200-300, right? And as a ghost coach for him. And I said, well, if it was like a 19-year-old girl who wanted to do her first bikini show. And I said, well, before I would coach this person, I need to know who this person is. What have they done? Where are they starting at? Because it was basically like, we start coaching her next week if you're in. Right. Her show's in 12 weeks. Let's go. And I go,
Oh,
what does she look like? What has she done? Is she already eating 60 grams of carbs at 12 weeks out?
Right.
Right. And it was like, I need to determine whether this person can actually do this. And he goes, oh no, I don't do things like that. Either you're in or you're out. Like, I'm taking her money, and either you're going to ghost coach her or not. Right. So I use that story to say there's a lot of coaches out there like that. Mm-hmm. And when somebody hits me up and says, I want to work with you, it's then a call essentially for me to qualify. Do I want to work with this person? I think for all of us where we're really busy and we're not trying to coach 100 people, one really annoying client will fuck up your whole day.
Yes.
And so we're trying to look for those qualities of the kind of hypochondriac that's worried about everything. I had 4 extra grams of rice in my meal. Should I take it out of that meal? And so it's for me, I want to qualify the person too. And the reason I say this is I think you should work with a coach that's having the conversation of, are you ready for this? Right. That's not just quickly taking your money, but is saying, hey, let's talk about what this show entails. In my gym being right in Boston, we've got a lot of college kids. So I'll have like a 19-year-old guy or girl coming in. Hey, I think I want to do the Jay Cutler show in the spring. Great. Let's sit down and talk about it. What's your day-to-day look like? And there's zero structure.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah.
I just eat when I'm hungry. I train when I can. Thinking about ordering these SARMs, the typical college student thing. And I sit down with them and I say, hey, look, let me paint the picture of what Groundhog Day needs to be in the life of doing a show. And before I'll coach you, I need to see you start to do these things, because it's not going to happen. And so there's a level of like, you have to qualify yourself to work with me to know that we're going to be able to actually get work done. And, you can represent yourself to the best that you can on stage, that you did the work. So I say that to say, like, I think a quality coach should have some level of filtering the clients. And if they're not, to me, that's almost a red flag. I just want to take your money.
Right.
It's funny you said about, like, I don't try to deter people anymore, but when I was first starting out like 5 years ago, and like I moved I was a police officer and I moved to coaching full time because I couldn't do both at once because I was getting so many clients, and I was like, all right, it's time to make the move, and then the gym came out, whatever. But like, my filtering process back then to compare to what it is now is like completely different. Like, even in my inquiry, when I send, hey Blake, I'm interested in your coaching, cool, I send him a formal inquiry over email, and like in the first paragraph, I basically lay it out for him, like, hey, I'm not just trying to grab and go with your money. This is going to be a process. It's going to be, you need to have patience, you need to be coachable, and you have to be ready to work. And if you're not ready to work, I really don't want to work with you. Like, I just like flat out tell them that, so they know what they're getting into right off the get-go. Because like you said, Nate, I'm sitting here thinking about the people that do this sometimes, even now, sometimes they like, it takes one person to ruin your day, especially when you're putting a lot of time and effort into someone, and then they're either, I don't know, it's either like this neediness or just off the wall shit. Or they take you for granted how much you're like actually putting in for them. and you're like, dude, oh man, that just ruined my day. Like this guy just ruined my whole like demeanor for the day. So you have to like almost vet them, first, and set the standard, so to speak. And I've had plenty of people that I like in the past year, that is, because my volume has gotten to the point where I'm like, I'm good. I know my threshold. So I'm like, I don't really need to go above this. Like I have other business ventures that and I want to keep my quality high. So I've like turned people down recently.
Yeah.
Where I'm like,
Yeah, you have to.
I already know, when someone's going to be a headache, like literally in the first 10 seconds of talking to them, whether it be in person or like through email, or if they're like ridiculously needy, or if they're just kind of full of shit, like not to be rude, but I'm like, hey, you know what? Like, I don't think this is a good match. Like,
also
sorry.
too, I've said sorry to a lot of people that are maybe they're like 8 weeks out and they come to me and they're like,
Dude.
hey, I was wondering if you would do my coaching. And there's some guys I've helped because I really want to see them like I'll fucking try. I'll try.
Yeah.
But like I had one friend of mine, he looked about 13 weeks out and he was 8 weeks out. And I said, this is going to be brutal, but I'm willing to try. And then he wound up getting his pro card that show. So it turned out, but it was rough. Like I had to like kill him. Like, it was like,
it's like what you guys say in a podcast before, you're like fish and Lasix.
yeah. The Lasix fish is a Chris Aceto joke. It was my joke, but Chris stole it and he still uses it. Whenever someone's flat on stage or they say they had a stomach ache, he goes, oh, it must have been that Lasix fish. But because I said that to him once and he was just silent on the phone. He was like, oh. It was the Olympia. I don't know if you remember, but there's an Olympia where Phil Heath, there's a picture of him eating McDonald's backstage.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah. So he's like slowly eating a McDouble. Like,
yeah. So I guess the story is he woke up like feeling shit and kind of flat.
Yeah.
For Phil.
Right. Yeah. Right. What's flat?
Yeah. So it was like an emergency McDonald's bag.
Like I thought he was just doing the fuck with everybody.
Oh, that's the story at the time was, hey, Phil's eating McDonald's backstage. And I go, oh, he must have had some Lasix fish. And Chris it was just a joke, but Chris was like, oh, I'm stealing that. So, yeah, so I was proud of that. But,
real quick, the Cody Montgomery story where he's puking in the toilet always gets me too, where he's like throwing up, like, and Chris yells from the back, you're going to be peeled.
Yeah. So, but the one of the things you're talking about, like filtering clients, I have my website. If they want to apply, like they want to talk to me, they get like an application and I have a bunch of questions on there. Like, are you financially able to do this? Right. And still the number of people were after like 2 months and like, they'll get on, I give them a program diet. They drop 5 pounds or tell me their workouts are the best they've ever had. Oh my God, my chest pump, everything's going up. And then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, I can't do this. Can't afford this. And I'm like, I asked you that. You said, yes, no problem.
Yeah. A lot of liars out there.
No, the wife's on me now. Uh-huh. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. So that happens. And you try to filter it out with direct questions. Can you afford this? You know? And, are you willing to do this? And then the first question is, when are my cheat meals?
Yep.
And I'm like, wait, can we have like a couple of weeks of off season, like, feedback before we start programming in like large pizzas and, so you try to filter the best you can. And they still get through though.
They still get through 100%.
They still get through. The odd one. I don't know. Maybe you guys are better at it or I'm too nice. I don't know.
No, definitely not. And like, I know when I like, I'll have a headache. I know when it's the first check-in, right? They check in for the first week and I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be good. Yeah, this would be really good. And then, or they check in and I'm like, fuck, it's going to be a nightmare. I just know like that's doing that all. And then I'm like, yeah, all right. I think it's just really hard though too. I think it's like information overload. I think that's where all these questions come from. So like we're from that old school train of thought, like where it isn't like rocket science. Like obviously there's a way to manipulate diet, of course, right? And what makes a really good coach is having the eye for it, setting the timeline correctly, and making those manipulations to diet accordingly so that you're on time and and then having enough clients over the years to realize not everyone's the same. right? And not everyone's going to handle carbs and proteins and fats the same. Not everyone's going to handle cardio the same. Some people take a million freaking years to get lean. Some people are genetic freaks and get lean in a second. So it's you know, I don't know. I think you have to learn all those things by coaching people, and the more people you have over time, the better you get at that as a coach, right? But
Yeah.
it's information overload, though, man. They're watching all their favorite like bodybuilders or whatever. Well, so and so does this. Why aren't we doing that? I'm like, that doesn't even apply to what we're doing right now, man.
I sorry to go again. I'll be quick.
No,
but,
go.
One of the things I found I started doing a lot more than I used to is when I'll take someone on who's already kind of on the right track. Like, the people that are on the right track, they'll be like, oh, here's my split. I do, chest buys, back calves, shoulder. I take it, it's like, it's fine. The split's fine. They got a physique. Everything's clicking along. I don't give them everything all at once. I go, okay, here, send your diet over. They send it over. I edit it. I send it back. I go, let's start with this, and start sending me videos of your top sets. I want at least 2 per workout.
So, intensity and yeah.
And then they start sending me training videos. And then like maybe within a week or 2 of getting a bunch of training videos, I'd be like, here's like an example leg day. I want you to start doing this amount of work. Like you can swap, hacks for pendulum, and you can, but this is like, I think you should be doing about this many work sets for quads, and let's run with this for hams. I'm like, okay. And then we'll like click along. And then maybe 3 weeks in, I'm like, send me all your like, let's take a look at all your vitamins and everything. Cause I feel like it's just a comfortable pace for some people when they get everything all at once.
It's overwhelming. Yeah.
It's like, yeah. And it's like funny how many people I think that affects now, and I mean, more now than it used to, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's our
anxiety.
Our anxiety levels are so high. It's like, oh my God, my vitamins came and my diet came and my plan came, and they're just like, it's like stressful for them. It's like, but I don't know. I just kind of drip things, maybe within the first 10 days, they've kind of got like,
that's actually that's a great idea. Dude.
And then they sort of feel like less impactfully shocking change. Let's say you do change their split. It's not as big of a deal because they've already been on the diet for 2 weeks. And, I don't know. I kind of do that with some people, but again, it's a feel thing. Like some guys, I feel there's an urgency, like they're not even going to train unless I send them a new program, like tomorrow.
Exactly.
But then other guys, you're like, oh, this guy's kind of rolling good. I'll say, let's just tweak it as like knobs. Let's just start turning knobs.
It's funny you say that though, because like all my advanced like athletes, both male and female, is in regards to competitors. I have a lot of lifestyle clients too, but like my competitors specifically, the ones that are super advanced that I've been coaching some of them for like 3, 4, almost 5 years. At this point with their programming, they know what works and what doesn't. Right. Like, and that's kind of what you're getting at. Like, I'm not going to give them some random program where I'm like, we're going push, pull, leg. And they're used to like body part. Like
switch the split for no reason.
Fuck, man, I can't do this. Like, and they freak out. Right. So it's like, hey man, let's just send me over. I've done that before. Hey, send me what you're doing, because you're still lagging on hamstrings and posterior chain in general. So let's see where you're at. Send me what you're doing. Let me tweak it and I'll send it back. And that seems to, same thing. It seems to work a lot better that way.
Yeah. I don't change foods on people.
Well, they'll freak them out too, man.
Especially lifestyle people. Like if they're if they're having a bowl of Cheerios, I just
let them have the bowl of Cheerios, man.
Can you just weigh it? Like, we just got to weigh your Cheerios. Like that's the first step is just getting in that habit,
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
Yeah.
I love hearing you guys talk about like qualifying and things like that. Like I've told part of this story, but not the whole story. Like pre-GymInformer, I was 300 pounds and lost 70 pounds in 1 year. And found out that I had prostate cancer. So I was like losing my mind, freaking out. And I was going to hire a coach to help me like in my recovery. Cause I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to have this major surgery. I'm going to be on the couch for a month. I'm going to lose all the muscle I gained over the last year. I'm going to be a mess. I'm probably going to go back to eating a dozen cookies a day, and I'm just going to be shit. So I'm like, I just need to hire a coach to get me back to going once I get cleared to go back to the gym. So, I was following some guys on Instagram and starting to get into the whole fitness world. And the first 2 guys I reached out to about coaching me in my recovery immediately went through a question process, and they immediately passed me off to somebody else. I was like, no, I didn't hire this. I wasn't trying to hire this other person. I was trying to hire you. Oh, this is how I work. So I was like, this is
Did they tell you that they're going to pass you on?
No. So then like, out of like I've been following Michael Hearn online, and this is part of the story I've told a little bit of. I sent an email to him because I knew his dad had prostate cancer, and that's what he passed away from. And Mike has a big soft spot for prostate cancer. So I sent him an email and said, hey, like, this is what I'm going through. I'm just wondering if you had any advice for me. So I get an email back from one of his assistants and said, can you get on a Zoom call with Mike at 1 o'clock on this day? I'm like, hell yeah. So I got on a Zoom call with Mike, and he's like, look, you don't need a coach. He's like, you're going through recovery. You're going to go through this. You're going to go through the surgery. You're tough. You've done all this. You're going to be fine. You just need to eat. It's like, get back to the gym when they say you can get back to the gym, but eat. Your body's going to go through a lot. You're going to have to feed it. Once you get through all that, then worry about like dialing back in. He goes, right now, calm down, just eat. I was like, that's awesome. Like, just the fact that Michael Hearn like got on a call with me, just told me not to stress out and told me, no, I don't need a coach, just to like feed my body so I can recover and then worry about it. It was just cool because like it made me realize like that's real. He wasn't just trying to take my money.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Him. He just wanted me to get better.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, to add to your story, Chris, what you were saying you went through, so people can understand kind of, I guess, the current day landscape of coaching. It's big business to coach coaches how to coach now, right?
Yes.
We've all probably seen that, right? These schools and collectives and masterminds, and there's weekend courses, and one end it's great because continuing education, but the coaching blueprint that's being taught to a lot of these people, and mind you, it's being taught to people who have never coached before, right? So in my gym, one of the things we have at this gym in Boston is we're a gym for independent trainers to run their own business. So a lot of people have a hybrid business, in-person clients and then online. And a few of these people have invested in these high dollar coaches services. We're talking $10,000, $20,000 you have to commit up front, where they're going to teach you how to bring in 10 to 50K a month. And this is to somebody who's never coached before, right? And so the blueprint is you need to hire lead generators. You're going to go online and post ads, and you need people who their whole job is to create the funnel from social media, create your social media content from this, create a funnel. Then it's somebody's job to take those calls and convert them. Call center, right?
Yeah.
And that's a job. And then you're going to have your team of coaches. And this is what's being taught to these people of business 101 for coaching, of this is the infrastructure you're going to build. And at no point in any of that is, connect with somebody, get them results, it's doing it to scale of this kind of McDonald's. Here's how we go from 0 to 100, and everything we're talking about on here, these coaches would say, well, it doesn't matter. It just get their card, bill them either for a year in advance, a big lump sum so they can't drop off, outsource it to some kid you can pay, $80, $100 a month to be their coach. So people need to be aware that this is really happening from even somebody that's like a local small town guy that you'd think there's no way they're doing this, all the way up to the bigger influencers, right? Where they're posting so-and-so's an Olympian athlete, so-and-so's a huge fitness influencer, sign up and join my team. There's a good possibility that this whole business infrastructure is behind that. And nowhere along the way does anyone give a damn about you getting to your goals.
Right.
So what you're talking about in that is coaching now becoming the exact model that we've been trying to fight against with GymInformer and getting people to go to locally owned gyms instead of the crunches and the purple boxes. And
that's what I was going to say. It's like the Planet Fitness model.
Yeah, it's the Planet Fitness or the crunch of coaching.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? Nate, you nailed that, man. I guess I never really thought about it that much. Like, I know that all of that exists, but like once you start thinking about it more, that makes a lot of sense for people, especially young kids and girls and guys that reach out. And I'm like, hey, do me a favor. Your calories are like really jacked up for where you were at. Or like, I don't even want to get into like gear protocols because I'm like, whoa, oh God. We don't need to go there. But like food, like just diets. And I'm like, hey, can you send me over your diet, like what it looked? And a lot of them send it over, and like the name of the team will be on there, like the name of the coach. And I'm like, Ron, you brought this up about the bikini chicks, right?
Yeah.
Holy shit. I mean, like 500-600 calorie diets and stuff. I'm like, oh man, their hormones are going to be wrecked. Like,
Yeah.
and like you look at where they're from or what team, whatever team this, and I'm like, wow. Like, and then you realize like, okay, that's probably how that was happening, because whoever's on the team, whoever's like presenting that, like it's not even them coaching, it was some random person, right? Like, because you've created this whole system in marketing and all the, I mean, they might not know anything. So
no, there's also too, like, I mean, we've all heard the stories of those big, the bikini factory coaches.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to use that in case that's a brand. I don't know if that's even used. I just said it, and I'm like, that could be a coach.
Bikinifactory.com. What are you talking
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like that's like a generic term. But I hear of them like they don't even coach the bikini girls. They coach like phases. They're like, okay, all you girls doing the January or the June show, it's time to start your diet. And then they at 12 weeks are all like, now we're going to start the stepper at 45 minutes. And then like at week 10, they all get the adjustment. Now it's time to go to 2 carb meals. And they're all doing these exact same thing. But and I know the logic is, they're all genetically the same anyways, because they're a certain level of bikini girl. Because by the time you get to like the pro level, they're all like a certain type of body.
Yeah.
So they're just like, we're all just dealing with like, it's they think of them as just carbon copies of one another. It's just like they just need X number of weeks on this plan and they'll look like a bikini competitor. And there's also no real defined end look. That's right.
Well, yeah,
so
no, I know.
There's like finish line of, okay, the glutes are now striated.
Yeah.
There's no finish look. There's a lot of different bikini looks that could do very well.
Which I think we all kind of scratch our head at that, because I'm like, yeah, I think this is a good package.
Yeah. So it's so arbitrary and subjective
right.
that they can get away with it, because let's say 20 girls are all doing exactly the same thing at the end of the 5-month prep. 15 of them look pretty good and probably were very happy, and the other 5 were like, well, I didn't place where I wanted, and it's just no one calls anyone on it.
Yeah.
Ron and Blake, with all of us owning gyms, it's been one of the things that I've run into of people coming into the gym and just excited, telling you they're doing a show, and then they want to divulge, or they come in and they're just looking like death, and you go, how many weeks are you out? 12. You go, 12, and you're looking like death, and then, or they volunteer. Yeah, my coach has me on 6 days a week, 0 carbs. I carb up on Sunday with 100 grams of carbs, and we're doing, we're pulling sodium at 6 weeks out, and just total nonsense, right?
You hear it crazy.
Do you guys just stay clear, saying, I'm not coaching them, they picked their coach? What do you guys tend to do when you hear these horror stories of people sharing what they're doing?
I'll usually say something like, "Oh, that sounds like pretty low carbs. It's gonna be a tough week." Like, I don't know. I'm kind of a none of my business guy. Like, I don't know. I don't like make fun of people if they pay too much for the car they're driving. Like if someone's like, I'm like, nice Jeep. They're like, yeah, I paid $85,000 for it. I'm like, that's
sweet,
not for a
dude.
Jeep.
That's awesome.
Not for a Jeep. I wouldn't have paid that. But I don't get on them about it. I just go, oh, cool. Like, I don't know. I think I'm a very like personal responsibility guy, and like research before you get into something. I mean, if somebody said they're doing something dangerous, I'd be like, oh, you should maybe ask ChatGPT about that. Like if they're like, I'm doing 2,000 tren a week. I'm like, you should punch that in. Should let Grok punch that in. Should ask Grok about 2,000 tren.
It comes spits back. It's like, sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah, Grok's like, dude. Right?
Yeah.
Like just, and especially now, like we can do that with anything now.
Yes.
Like just ask Grok, is this ridiculous? Yeah, this is ridiculous. Coaches make fun of this shit all the time. Right? Like it'll tell you that.
I think though it's like a lot of, isn't some of this, maybe I'm like, I always thought I'm not the like sharpest tool in the shed or anything, man, but I'm like, isn't a lot of this shit like common sense? Like, if you're
Yeah.
12 weeks out from a show and you're not eating anything, well, like, so like, where are you going from there?
I have a
You
theory
know?
on some of that. I mean, some of it is just people getting in. I will say this too, it's not popular, but I really think people need to. I'm all for people jumping into shows without knowing anything. Like, fine,
Sure.
do it. I've seen people kick ass. I've seen guys learn as they go and like smoke everyone. It's crazy.
Well, yeah.
Like, how do
You're
I do
like,
a front
we're like
double?
that, Ron. I'm like that.
Right. Yeah. No, but like, like they're doing their front double like this, and then you open them up and you're like, oh, you're going to beat everybody.
Yep.
Like, those people are out there, right?
They are, yeah.
But a lot of people aren't those people, and they should go to like 4 shows. They should
Yeah.
volunteer for a show. How's that for learning? Volunteer, stand backstage for 15 hours with rubber gloves on and see what's going on. And if you're still excited about competing, then for sure. But if you're like, fuck this, then that's probably save yourself a lot of time. And
Yeah.
I think people need to go to shows. Like, before I ever competed, I'd been to the Canadian Nationals, the Australian Nationals, the New Zealand Nationals, the Queensland State Championships, the New South Wales, the Victoria State Championships, because I was in Australia for a little while when I was 19. Then I had been to the provincials in Alberta. I'd been to the Albertas twice, but I'd already seen like multiple people get pro cards in person. I was backstage with my training partner when he won the super heavyweights at the Australian Nationals. I put his tan on for him. I learned how to do
awesome.
tan. So
Yeah.
before I ever walked on stage, I was like seasoned.
Yeah.
I was like, you have to look like that to step on national stage. Like, I was not delusional at all.
Yeah, you knew the standard.
Yeah, I was
The
backstage.
actual standard.
I was backstage with the super heavyweights putting tan on my buddy. And I was like, oh, fuck, he's going to win this.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome. Like, looking around going, fuck, we got this. We got this. And it was, we got this too, because I was his training partner. I was like, fuck, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
I can't imagine how disadvantaged you must feel to be backstage. Like, where's the, what do I do? Where do I stand? Like, I'm not saying that's bad, but it just like, like I would never want to be in that situation. I would want to know exactly what is about to fucking happen, And so that's something that people need to just kind of put on themselves. Like, be a little patient, go to 3 shows this year, compete next year.
I think part of that though, Ron, too, is like, I'm sure we can all agree on this one. Why is this person competing? Like, that's my biggest question sometimes. Like, what's your why in this? Like, why do you want to compete? Like for you, you watched all of these shows. You were like, yeah, I'm in on this. You love the process, right? For me, I was like, I spent 2 years bodybuilding before I even thought about reaching out to my mentors. Like, I just like love to pack my meals and like kind of suffer. And like, I like putting myself through that process, all of that, reading books, reading online, all the, what's it called? The, forums and stuff. I used to read all the forums back in the day, and I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Like, I love this. Like, I was almost bodybuilding and doing the whole process before I was actually bodybuilding. So I think it seems like a lot of the younger population, especially, they're just jumping into these shows. Like, I don't know if it's for the likes, to carry the tripod around, to wear the dark sport stuff. I don't know what are they doing it for? Sometimes I don't think they even know.
Yeah, well, it's fun. There's like, I understand how, people who are maybe like, imagine being 22 years old and you're kind of like bored and you're looking for, you know what I mean? And you find this new culture and you're like,
sure.
Oh, the girls are hot. I'm going to look good. Everyone's cool. They're fucking, you're like, you know what I mean? I love working out, high school sports are over for me now. So I'm going to go to the gym. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of reasons why people and it sort of ties in with, a lot of people are looking for a place to belong too. There's a lot of people like they feel like they don't really have like a kind of a core group at the moment in their life at that year when they're, 24 or 26 or however old they are. And they're kind of looking for a place to fit in. And the gym becomes that for a lot of people, and it always has. And it became that for us in a way too. Like, I remember when I joined the gym and all the men at the gym were like, hey kid, you train hard.
But that's what I mean. That's what I'm getting at,
man. I'm in with the man. So
Yeah.
then I get it. Like I get how they feel. They're in with a group, right?
Like, let's squat to our nosebleeds, man. Like, let's put 3 to 4 plates on here and squat 20 reps. And
right. It was a different,
like,
it was a different friend group, but
yeah,
the belonging was the same.
So maybe I'm just the old guy now, like uphill both ways guy. Like,
they can get that feeling now just from, the backpack.
Yeah.
Maybe. Nothing against backpacks. I love a good backpack, but I'm just
saying. Like a Jan Sport's really nice.
Yeah.
Question for you guys. Do you guys think if somebody's looking for a coach to compete, should that coach's track record matter? So I'll give you where I'm coming from. Like when I decided I was going to compete again at 37, 38, if you're in Boston, Jose Raymond has the best track record, right? In one of the best amateurs in the world, 10 years in a row with the Mr. Olympia, winning the Arnold Classic, and then a whole staple of people of which he turned pro, right? So before I ever knew the guy, I knew those facts. And if I I want to compete and see how far I can go, to me, it made sense to say, let me find the guy that went the furthest.
Yeah.
Right. I'm thinking of starting a business of this. Well, this guy's a multimillionaire in that line, versus the guy that still is toiling away. Always what I was confused about, that's how I view things, is there are people that will go with, say, not Jose and local coaches around Boston who 5-10 years in have still not won a local show. And now they have a team of athletes, right? And I can look at these particular coaches who can't win a local show and say, well, they don't know what lean is, and their posing sucks, and their tan's off, and they kind of turn into a head case all through prep, right? There's the mental aspect, which is Jose also had from, years and years and years of high pressure competing, and you put it into a certain perspective. But people will still choose these people. What do you guys think about that? Like for me, it's like if I want to be a millionaire in a certain business, I want my mentor to be somebody that has gotten the furthest in that. With also the caveat being they're not a total asshole of a person, right? It's like succeed, right. Be a good person, those two things together. But is that something you guys would recommend to people in terms of important, or do you think not so much?
I think it goes both ways, right? Because I've seen a lot of unbelievable bodybuilders that are terrible coaches, man. I mean, you're they don't actually know what they're doing. And a large part, maybe it's not even intentional, but it's the fact that their genetic capabilities were so good. Like Ron was alluding to earlier, they didn't really have to try that hard, and they could literally prep in 10 to 12 weeks. And you're like, holy shit. How many guys beat me that may have prepped for 12 weeks just because they're freaks, man. And they did the process kind of okay, and they pushed themselves pretty hard, but I don't think they had to do 24 weeks of diet and an hour and a half of cardio like I did. And, so right. I don't have dude, I'm one of those guys 100%. I've yet to win an overall at a local regional. I've gotten really close multiple times in a row. I suffered dieted for 15 years of bodybuilding, but I probably will never grace the stage and turn pro. And I've accepted that a long time ago. I realized, shit, man, you know what? I'm actually a lot better at coaching than I am at the sport itself. I still love it the same. I'm never going to go a day in my life without carrying Tupperware around and training my ass off, dude. That's all I know. I love it. And I think I'm an okay bodybuilder, but I'll never be a great bodybuilder. It doesn't mean I'm going to quit or give up on it. I'm going to keep rolling along with all the injuries and all the bullshit. But, I think that it could definitely go both ways, but I think, I think you got to walk the walk, man. You can't just talk the talk. And I think if you kind of look at someone's credentials as it'd be different if there's a couple of people around the area I'm at now in Frederick. And I should watch my side, but they haven't really done anything. And they were the dude. And you're then you get here, my business partner and I got to Frederick, and everyone's like, that's the guy. And these two are the guys. And I was like, you look them up, and I'm like, really? Those are the guys? I'm like, oh shit. And it's not that I was the greatest bodybuilder ever, but I'm like, you can just tell, they haven't done anything. Like, why would they be giving
Right.
a bunch of advice? And they don't know what it's like to diet for 24, 30 weeks. They don't know what it's like to suffer. They don't know what it's like to eat not that you have to eat white fish for every meal, but you get what I'm saying. You know what I mean? They didn't really walk the walk. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think, I think because of like the genetic elements, the level of their success is not as important as the type of success. So if you were a guy who did like 10 state level shows and your glutes were shredded at all 10 of them, and you were known for always being in shape, and
Yep.
everyone said you're a great guy. Oh, that dude's really helpful, man. He's a friendly guy. He likes to help people. He's always in shape, man. Guy works his ass off. He's been doing this for a long time. He coached that guy and he did pretty good last year, and he coached that guy and I'd be like, oh, that guy sounds like a great coach. But so it's not the level, it's some skin in the game. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And like, notice how I didn't even say he won anything. He just came in like shape, like very respectable condition multiple times. And it's funny because I hear people say that about me now. Like I took me till I was 39 to turn pro. I got beat at 10 pro qualifiers. I got second place at 10 pro qualifiers.
This was also, I'll speak for him though. This dude, the level of competition of the guys you went against back in that time was unbelievable. The amount of pro cards they give out now.
Yeah.
I know I'll say it for you because you won't say it because you're humble and that's great. But you were against like dudes that would all be, you would have your pro card, right?
Well, every single great Canadian bodybuilder in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Had to go through me.
It's true though, dude. Like the level of, and I don't mean to take away. I don't. No,
it's actually a very good list. I had a great front row seat. I'm very like, I had a front row seat to Canada's best bodybuilding ever. And it was awesome. Like it was Frank McGrath. It was Fouad. It was Ben Pekulski. It was Antoine.
Listen
Ballant.
To this list, dude.
It was all these guys that were great bodybuilders and like really good bodybuilders. Like look at what they did. Ben and Fouad and Antoine all went to the Olympia, like the Open. It was, Frank McGrath went to the Olympia. It's, that's just 4 of them. And that's like, there was a whole bunch, but it was an awesome era of like the 20 guys in the super heavyweights, 30 guys in the supers one year. It was like, holy shit,
Wow.
It was like a great time. But just there was a lot more like, I mean, it was different. The pro card was a lot more rare. So there was a lot more respect for other achievement other than just like the guy that won. Because there was always like a bunch of great guys, and a lot of those guys parlayed into great coaching businesses and still are coaching and, never got cards or anything, but it doesn't matter at this point. They're solid at what they do, and their experience and their track record speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that what you guys are saying makes a lot of sense in that on 2 different levels. Like if I were going to compete and I were going to hire a coach, I would be more interested in the success that coach has had with his clients than with the success that coach has had. Because if you look at the NFL, like or NBA,
a lot of coaches, there's most of them were like college guys. They didn't even make the pros. Yeah.
And then you get guys like Sean McVay, who like I think he was a wide receiver at like University of Ohio or something. Like nobody ever heard of him, and now he's like the best coach in the NFL. Like, so I think coaching is a very different thing than competing. Like, and I've had gym owners that have tried to argue with me before about what I do, and like, well, who are you? Like, you've never even competed in a bodybuilding show. I'm like, I'm pretty sure those bodybuilders haven't been to 300 gyms in the last 3 years. Like, it's a different thing, dude. Like, apples to apples, man.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I coach guys and girls right now that I'm like, I can name a list of 15 people right now. Like, some of I'm like, dude, man, they would whoop my ass. Like, like these, and then when you get a workhorse, you guys have had them too. They have the genetics. I have a couple right now. Their genetics they don't even know how good they are, dude. I'm like, you guys are unbelievable. And that's like, man, proper coaching. Here we go. This is all gonna roll, man. It's exciting. I don't even give a shit about my own progress now. I'm like, this is awesome.
I completely live vicariously through some of my clients. I trained to like kind of keep the physique I have and try to
Me
hold
too.
my body weight and stay
Yeah.
lean and be healthy. And
Yeah.
so like my training partner PR'd on hack yesterday. So I was like, yeah.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what
awesome.
I mean? I took it a little bit like,
Hell yeah, brother.
that's my training partner. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Nate's the exception. There's people like Nate who are great coaches and great bodybuilders.
Right. Yeah. They are out there. How old are you, Nate?
44.
Oh, okay.
You're 44. You look younger than dude. What?
Yeah.
How old do you think how old do you guys think I am? Don't be shy.
I don't know.
I think you said 32, right?
30, well, 34. We're gonna say around.
Okay. Yeah. You're
Ron was gonna say 42.
No, I got a light washing out my wrinkles. I'm getting old.
Yeah.
You guys are all babies. I've got you all by at least 10 years.
Are you 60?
Are you 50?
I'm 50.
Oh, no.
Ron, you're 50 years old? No, you're not.
Yeah, 1975.
Son of I was born in 72.
Yeah. So you're 53? You're 53 now? Yeah.
Yeah, I just turned 53.
Yeah, I just turned in October. I just turned 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys look freaking awesome, dude. When I'm your age, I'm going to be like, people are going to be like, you're 75, right?
Yeah. Well, I actually, I'll give you guys the update. I'm actually getting a new hip on Friday.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. Fuck.
Dude, hip replacements nowadays, though, are like Jose had his done, right? He was like squatting like 405.
Both of his hips, didn't he have both done?
No, he still needs to do the other one. He's just had one done. But
is the other one as bad as the first one was? Because the first one's usually the one that wakes people up to like, I'll never let it get that bad again. And
I don't think it's as bad. And dude, he was competing at the Olympia, right? Like 17 and 18. He was. I was training with him for the 18 Olympia, and all he could do was like seated hamstring curls and leg extensions for
and his legs still look that great.
Yeah. It's been 2.5 years of just my hip just devolving into a fucking disaster. And up here in Canada, we're having really, really bad wait times and problems with the medical system. And if you're not an emergency, you're just not important. So like, you know, if you get in a car crash and your hip's broken, they'll fix it that day and it's free. But if you want a new hip, they go, are you on opiates yet? And you say no. And they're like, oh, well, you're fine. You're like, I can't walk. Like I can't get in my truck without like grimacing and lift my foot. I haven't tied my shoe in 2 years. And they're like, they were like, yeah, but you know, like you walked in here without a cane. I'm like, yeah, because I'm fucking tough. Like I'm not walking on a cane. Like I've been in pain my whole life.
Exactly. You're a bodybuilder.
so it's just not. I'm on like I'm just the wait list is just brutal, and the wait list is getting worse. You know, like they're falling more behind. It would be probably another year, and I just can't wait another year. So I'm gonna go private and get it done in Montreal.
There you go.
Yeah,
good man.
So fly out tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm actually we're actually filming a podcast tomorrow, with my ortho surgeon.
Oh, okay. What did you get done?
You know, the second bicep tendon.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So I tore the right one 3 years ago. I tore it bowling. Technically, I think it was
fucking
the doctor.
So many guys.
I know. Bowling, yeah, that's a big one.
Bowling, I know so many guys that tear their bicep bowling. It blows my mind.
Yeah. When you think of the motion, you're like, makes sense.
It's just the momentum, the snap on it is like you're just not used to it. The tendon
like a ballistic like movement,
yeah. And then also all the bodybuilders that take up jiu-jitsu, they all do as soon as they get put in an arm bar and they're like, I can just lift the guy.
Yeah.
Like, the guy reefs on their arm and they tear their bicep every time. Be careful.
Yeah,
I hope it's healing well.
Oh yeah, I'm great. Like it's funny the difference in the recovery process because I've been through it before. Because I've torn both of them now. Not that I recommend that to anyone.
How'd you tear a second one?
The first one mentally took me like a year and a half before I would even like do anything that I felt was strenuous on my bicep because I'm just like, I'm gonna tear it again. It's gonna go. Every time like it started to get hard in the bicep area, I was like, nope, shut it down. And
injuries suck, man.
Oh, they're awful. Yeah. And this one, the doctor was like, all right, you can start lifting. He's like, I know you. So like I say you can lift 10 pounds. That doesn't mean go do 100 curls.
Right.
Like you can start lifting 10 pounds. So I went and I understand what it feels like now because I'm a little bit more in tune. I know when it's in the joint and when it's in the muscle. And there's a very big difference when your muscle straining versus when your joint is straining. And so I'm 6 months out. I'm like curling 25s, which that's not like exciting, but like curling 25s took me a year last time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know.
Yeah.
So
I have 4 repairs. It'll be 2 years almost to the day. I had 4 separate repairs to my shoulder. I went in for like a labral repair that like I put off for as long as I possibly could. And they're like, all right, man, you need surgery. And then it made sense. They went in to do it. And it was like bicep tenodesis, labral repair, slap repair, and subscap repair.
They did all 4 of them?
All 4 of them at once. And I was like, all right, man, like I'm back at it. It was, you know, a couple weeks after I'm in my sling, I'm training one arm, I'm training legs, I'm doing everything because I'm going nuts, man. I have herniated discs, you know, just the same shit that everyone else has, you know. So I'm like, all right, I can get through this fucking thing. And like 6 months go by and it's like it's still really bad. And I'm like, I had like no range. And then a year went by and I'm like trying to force it, and it sucks. But it'd be 2 years to the day, and like I woke up this morning and like went to grab like my washcloth and I was like, oh shit. I'm like, dude, man, I'm trying to prep. I wanna prep, man. Like I want to compete again. But I'm like, this is super frustrating. Like, but I'm like, well, everyone's else in the same boat probably too, so I just shut up.
I heard shoulders can take a long time.
They suck, man. Like it's
like
my discs, like you can work around that kind of shit. Knees, you can work around it. Tiny ruptures, all that. I mean, we've all had them, you know. So it's like you're used to working around. It's part of the game, man, right? But this has been different. This sucks.
And my biggest problem this time.
Guess I won't go to the Olympia now. So
I took no time off. So I was in the gym like a couple of days after surgery, just doing legs. So I would do quads and calves, then go back and do hams and glutes, take a day off, and then quads and calves, hams and glutes, day off. And I wasn't dialing it back enough to be doing quads and calves and then hams and glutes like 3 times a week. So right before my Vegas trip, I'm like changing a light bulb at the house, and my back just went because everything was so tight in the lower part of my body. So if you've seen any of my Vegas reviews, like if you look at the weight that's on any machine, it's like super baby weight, because one, I just tore my bicep, just had my bicep repaired, and now my back's like in a giant like knot. I still did 10 gyms in like 5 days.
Oh man.
Damn.
But like I was barely moving.
Yeah. Nate, you don't have any major injuries, right?
What was that?
I was like, Nate, you don't have any major.
No, I'm very fortunate. The only thing I'm dealing with now, which is like this is the longest lasting injury, is tricep tendonitis. It was bothering me. My elbow was hurting going into, I did Atlanta Pro and then the Masters World Championships this year. And like 2 or 3 weeks out from Atlanta Pro, I was like, I just can't hit tricep. You know, I kept taking things away. It was like, okay, can't do anything overhead. I can still do rope push downs and close grip bench press. And then the rope push down started bothering me, but I could do close grip. And, thankfully I have genetically good triceps. And so it was like, all right, 2-3 weeks before the show, whatever. And then after usually any of these little injuries that I have, if I just dial it back to like 60% and just don't go super hard, my body heals up. But this just didn't, so I had an MRI 2 weeks ago to just figure out what I was worried about, is that if it was like partial tears, because it was just inflamed and anything I did, 40 pounds on a rope tricep extension was killing. And so I wanted to at least rule that out to know, which direction I have to go. So 2 weeks ago, I found out it's tricep tendonitis. So we're starting trying to work that back. My hope is, in January, I can start picking up. I'm training at like 50-60% right now, just to hold and working on, some other goals in life and gym stuff and
it's good.
Keep my physique. But yeah, the only other thing that I had, which was short term, but it put me out of a show, was I pulled my psoas, but at the time it felt like I had a herniated disc. Right. I was doing bent over rows with Jose, and it felt like something popped in my lower back, and I dropped to the ground, and just in excruciating pain. And for 2 weeks, I couldn't find a position to be comfortable in, standing, sitting, sleeping. And eventually figured out that it was the psoas.
Yeah.
And then it was literally just stretching it, like hip stretches and things.
Do you have like a hip hook or like the Surrite?
I haven't tried those yet. No, I was just doing. Are those worth
fantastic.
It? Okay.
Like, yeah, because like that psoas, like you can feel it like wrap around like your iliac crest back into that lumbar spine, like in spinal erectors, L4, L5, and like you'd be surprised when you lay on like the hip hook, you find the right spot, you find that.
Is that the thing with the 2 humps on it? You like
so I just use one side, or I have the hip hook too, and the hip hook's like more like trigger point because it's like the surface area is obviously
more,
like a lot
like
less.
a smaller point of
contact.
Right.
So like you go to a PT, they have you lay on your side and they'll dig in, to your psoas.
Get your hand out of there.
What's that?
I tell them, get your hand out of there.
Get your hand out of there.
I want a female officer, please.
You can feel it in your back though. Like I can feel like where my back gets like super tight, and I'm like, holy shit, man, it's a good release. But yeah.
So I've been fortunate. Just those. One of the things I think in training with Jose is Jose tells the story of. I think it was around the time of when he won the Arnold. He was just getting really banged up. Years of squatting 500 pounds just do a number on you. So he changed his style up to these, 4-4-4 rep method, holds and squeezes and drop sets, and so that's mostly what I do, whether I'm with Jose or not with Jose. And it allows me to really bring intensity to a set without having to go stupid heavy.
Yep.
It's like, let's just hit failure, but there's a lot of ways to get there other than throwing on the most of. It's funny because every once in a while I'll push, and we're really fortunate. Jay Cutler's in my gym all the time. He was
awesome.
just here last week for like 4 days. A month ago he was here for 2 weeks straight training every day. And it's like if I post a video on the Smith machine squatting 4 or 5 plates, he's like, bro, you're too old for that shit. Like, cut that shit out. You're going to hurt yourself. You can just stay at 3 plates and make that hard.
That's right.
I love Jay.
I think that's like the name of the game, though. Jay's like someone that's really good to watch with that stuff, too, because obviously, like, he keeps it rolling. And, like, we've all learned over time, like, this has been huge for me because I used to train pretty freaking heavy, like, and I was, we all have, a lot of us have that background. Ron, I knew you were the same way, like, super heavy lifting, like look at Dusty. Dusty can still, like, get away with that stuff.
Dusty's still stronger. Dusty still does things I never did.
Dusty's so fucking strong, dude. Like,
Dusty still does things I never did.
That's crazy. He's just one of those guys. Like, I don't know if it's like a connective joint, like tissue thing or whatever, but like
I was 90 strong.
Yeah.
If you look at the weights they're using in those DVDs, those make sense to me.
Yeah.
The stuff people use on Instagram now, I was never.
Well, everyone seems like they're just stronger. Like, I'm like, what in the world, dude?
Strong. Is it just a 4-minute mile phenomenon? Once people see somebody do it, they're like, "Oh, I should be able to do it."
I don't know, man.
Sometimes it's the dumb people that don't know how crazy that weight is.
Oh, they don't.
Like,
they don't.
Heavy. It's like you just did 6 plates for a triple on the bench. Like, oh yeah, that was pretty heavy. Like,
we have like some of the younger powerlifters here. They're in like knee sleeves, and now I know the knee sleeves have a lot more pop to them and whatnot. They're a lot more like the strength of them are great. But there was some kid in here the other day with like 6 plates on the bar, and he's like hitting it for like 5s, and I'm like, holy shit, dude. I walked over, I was like, hey, man, that's really impressive. And he's like, oh, thanks, man. Like, no big deal. I'm like, oh, that's really impressive.
No, I tell people, like, dude, so there's a video of from my buddy Dino's gym in England. There's a guy, one of the locals, 6 plates for a triple on the bench in a t-shirt with all the guys, all the lads around yelling, yeah. And I was just like, dude, your gym is nuts.
That's wild.
That. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Jay, I just love when people tell Jay stories. I saw your video on your bike. It was rad. That's what he said to me once. It was rad.
Dude, he watches everything. He watches every of a guy that has so much on his plate, right?
I know.
And is so busy. One, I got to give Jay, the compliment of he reaches out to me all the time. I'm a nobody, and I get a text from Jay once a week. How's the training going, bro? You hitting it hard? You killing it? Or how's the gym going? Or I'll get a phone call from him every few weeks, and he's driving somewhere, and I'm like,
he's got to have like a directory in his mind.
You know what I mean?
Like, how do you? He's amazing. What, like, I know everyone says about like a huge ambassador, but he really is, man. Like he's like touched so many lives in this sport. Like he's just a good dude.
So we've had our gym for 8 years, and
I thought it's been longer than that.
No, we just had our 8th anniversary.
Okay, congrats, man.
the 8th anniversary is a day before my 50th birthday. So, Jay's known I've had a gym for years, and there's a big picture of Jay on the wall from the old owner. And it was the only thing we left on the wall, and we just painted around it. It's awesome. This big black and white picture of Jay on the cable crossover, I think. Yeah. I can't remember. Anyways, great picture. And doing the most muscular. And so I sent him, like, when we first opened the gym, I remember sending him a picture. I was like, hey, Jay, you're on the wall at my gym. It's the only thing we're leaving up. And he was like, oh, that's awesome. And then every time I would see Jay over the years, he'd be like, how's the gym, bro? And, he always remembered. Like, that's the thing. Like, yeah, when Jay sees someone, he'll go, how's your dog? Right? Or, like, hey, wow, how's that car you bought? Like, it's not generic, like, hey, how's your day?
Yeah.
And that's the difference with Jay, is it's something you're like, this motherfucker actually saw me put that video up.
It's like true photographic memory.
I saw the bar spin, bro. Like, I'm like, fuck. This is awesome.
I see this all the time in my gym, right? He'll come here. Someone he met a year ago. He's like, how's school going? Northeastern, right? You studying to become that. And it was like a 2-minute conversation from a year ago.
It's literally one of the best traits you can have.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Because just think, like, what do they teach people at those fancy schools and at Yale and Harvard and everything when they walk into a room? It's like they're conditioning all those people. Like, that's the senator. His son's name is Billy. They all have someone in their ear. Ask his wife how her gardening's going. How's your gardening going? Like, it's Jay has that the guy ability. Sitting right here.
Yeah.
Do you watch Veep? Do you guys ever watch Veep?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, it's an amazing show. I loved Veep. It's Veep. Elaine from Seinfeld had an HBO show.
Oh, okay.
Veep,
all right.
And she plays the vice president of the United States of America. But it's a political satire. So she'll be walking through the Congress and she's got her like idiot assistant who's hovering her over every minute, and he'll be whispering in her ear constantly. Right? The senator from Nebraska, ask him about the grain tariff. Right. And so then she'll shake his hand and just spout this, and it all appears as if she's just a woman of the people.
Yeah. That's hilarious, dude.
And I think that's Jay.
Yeah, it's gotta be. Yeah. Yeah.
I just had one more question I wanted to get into with you guys. I know I appreciate your time. We covered it a little bit, like the negatives of having a wrong coach, but I wanted to get into it a little more specifically because when I had Taylor and Sydney on talking about like leveling up, and because Sydney just got a pro card and Taylor was just on the Olympia stage for the first time, they were both talking about like having coaches that weren't working out for them. And as women, the things you really have to be careful about, even more so than men, when you get a coach that doesn't know what they're doing or doesn't have your best interest at heart. What is it that women need to be paying attention to when hiring a coach?
I think that the principles between what it takes to get a woman in shape and a man in shape are exactly the same. And whenever I've had all my best success with, like, I've done pretty good with figure. I've had a lot of figure girls come to me and get pro cards. And I just treat them like bodybuilders. Like, you just treat them like bodybuilders. They're not special. I think that keep an eye for coaches like handling you separately. I don't know. I think you're all the same. You're all bodybuilders, essentially. You don't use the same, but you're doing all the same principles and stuff. And I think that, look for someone who's all about, like, they're too interested in how hot you are. There's a problem.
Well, there seems to be a lot more of that than what I even like realized, man. Like, it's like this underground world of like, hey, that guy sleeps with all his clients. You're like,
I didn't get the memo.
I can't see.
I didn't know we were allowed to do that.
You're like, oh shit, wait, really? Yeah, I think there's a lot of that.
Yeah, I only married one of my clients.
I met my wife in the gym, but she's definitely not. Yeah, I think that kind of goes hand in hand though with like that whole topic. You can kind of get a pretty good feel off the get-go of who's a piece of shit who's not, like.
Hey man, do I need to you guys have all heard these stories. You've heard the stories about the coaches that dole out a specific amount of cocaine for the weekend parties with
No.
their harems.
No,
Have you heard those stories?
no.
There's the party coaches. There's these party coach subgenre. The subgenre.
Wait,
of the
now,
party
okay,
coach.
I think I do know. Okay, yeah. Well,
You know,
yes,
the
I'm thinking
team
of
parties
something.
together, right? The team all parties together. It's Olympia time. We're all gonna go to Telow on Thursday night.
Yeah,
Everyone who's on my team, we all go to Telow. Everyone gets a certain like. It's just craziness that goes on at this other genre of coaching that I just am like,
Well, there's like a swinger group with all that too, right? Like
that would merge.
Like nowadays,
the bubbles
it's
are
like
overlapping.
The
two bubbles,
EDM concerts, and like we'll all go together as a group. And
are you going to the foam party?
The foam party in Vegas, team
body fit at the foam party, like. Again, my apologies to Team Body Fit.
They're like, we're suing that motherfucker.
Team's still saying the names of all my companies. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like just there's a lot of red flags out there that aren't that hard to spot.
No.
Like, so just be careful, really.
Maybe ask your dad. What do you think of this, Dad?
Yeah.
Or don't, you never know.
Yeah.
I think to add on to what Ron's saying, to what we said earlier, is there's something for coaching for women where they say like, oh, this is very different, right? You need somebody that understands the hormones and gut health. And when you're overcomplicating something, I heard this from, there's a friend of Jose's who's a pro bodybuilder, but also worked in financial services. And he said, guys like me make a lot of money by making it sound really complicated of what we do. Right. We want to confuse you. We want a lot of transactions. Like, I don't even know what to do. Just take my money and do something with it. Right. And then they literally take your money when it can be really, really simple. And so I think be leery of the coaches that say, oh, they're vastly different, a man and a woman. And if a coach doesn't understand that, they have no business touching a woman. And there's all of these rules that vary how you train, how you eat, what you do around a period. And their whole business is trying to make it something out here that no one would know, but only they know, right? So you've got to pay them. And I think when it comes down to it, as Ron said, there's train hard, build muscle, be in a caloric deficit to lose body fat.
Yeah, it's
it's not that different.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I think they're all one and the same in the sense of like, there isn't this vast. I think this is huge with programming too, like in specifically like, oh, well, for this division and for females, we need to obviously have more glutes and more of this. So there has to be this special program. And I'm like, movement patterns are fucking movement patterns. They're all kind of the same. Like as long as we're providing stimulus to an area that we need to grow, it's going to grow. Right.
Yeah.
Sets and reps can all kind of be somewhat the same. And how you break it up, how you break the split up, obviously for bikini wellness, I've done really well with figure girls too, Ron. Like I don't know, maybe that's just a niche. I haven't had a lot of female competitors, but I have, I've had a fair share and amount. I think dealing with lifestyle and clients, just the females in general, they're obviously you do have to work around different hormones, obviously. I mean, but like there isn't this drastic difference though. You don't have to be like, oh, well, this guy or this girl's a female driven coach or this. I think it's all somewhat one and the same. And like Nate just alluded to as well, it's like, it's a set diet plan. We're going to caloric deficit or a surplus. It's all about every person is completely different, male or female. They're all going to present different issues with like GI distress, gut issues, injuries. You just have to take the person, male or female, and then work with what they have or what whatever the problem is. Right. So it's not this vastly different thing. No, I mean, there's obviously, I think it's hormonally, there's some different, but you don't have to be like a hormone specialist, like to work with female clients, No,
I appreciate you guys coming on. This was really great. I'm excited to have it out.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more great content.